Greetings and welcome back to Just Talk. Oh yes, that's right. Look, we're back in Just Cause 2. We're back talking. It's Just Talk time. And yeah, it's been a while. Old school, old time viewers of the channel may well recognize Just Talk. This is a series that I started way back at the beginning, actually, pretty much not long after I started YouTubing. And the idea was to sort of track week on week, give myself an opportunity to just talk about, stuff that was affecting the channel news, as I would call it, as well as, track the progress of the channel and update everybody on what was going on, include the channel analytics in that, which basically is like things like the view count and the audience retention, all of the stuff that YouTube gives us as YouTubers to kind of see how our channel's doing. And the thinking behind that was, well, A, I'm just a fan of transparency, and B, it would be a useful kind of record, both for myself and possibly for other YouTubers, looking to see kind of, what is actually like, what kind of viewer growth can you achieve, or did this guy achieve, I should say. Obviously, I'm not suggesting that it is representative, either because it was particularly high or particularly low or particularly average. Frankly, I've got no idea, because one of the frustrations when starting a YouTube channel is that actually there is no information available, or at least not readily available. So the idea was to put a bit out there, and that's what I did. And, it went on for quite a long time, but it's been a while since my last one, about 3 months in actual fact, which is not ideal. So yeah, this is kind of a metaphor for old school Just Talkers. This is a metaphor in Just Cause 2. We're out in the wilderness. We are in the wilderness of abandoned series or lack of Just Talk episodes. And this kind of extends to the whole channel. Actually, I felt a little bit like things have been a little bit out in the wilds. A little bit uncertain. The channel has been kind of stagnant, or kind of trying to find its feet again. We had a really great start of the year. We had a really sort of like fast growth. I was blown away. I didn't really have any expectations. And we built up sort of through 100 subscribers up to 1,000 subscribers. Everything seemed to be moving in the right direction. All of the numbers were going up all the time. And we actually got to like quite a big peak, and things kind of started to tail off a little bit after that. And then sort of flatten out. And although subscriber count has continued to grow, and we're up to 2,800 odd subscribers now, I think. In terms of actual viewership, it seems to be a flatter picture. Although it's possible that is misleading, because I've also reduced the number of videos that I do on a weekly basis. Originally, I was doing like 7 videos a week, basically 1 a day. And sort of going back to the summertime, it started to be a bit difficult to find the time to do all of this. Certainly, the financial return of the channel was pretty much non-existent until the Patreon backers came along, and even with the Patreon backers, which makes a huge difference. I mean, it makes an absolutely fantastic difference. Just having a few people like donating a little bit each month, it covers the cost of new games. It helps to kind of like keep me motivated and keep me feeling like actually, there is a future in doing this. That there is the possibility that this channel may be more than just a hobby, which would be good. I think. Anyway, I hope it would be. Look, this is enough. Look, it's gotten all depressing and sad. Look, we're talking about, the possibility that the channel might not have continued and things flattened out and the viewers didn't continue to grow. And, oh, it's so very sad. It's raining. Rico's all like grumpy and lonely, and we're out in the wilderness. No more, I tell you. Begone dark weather. Begone foul thoughts. We shall defy you, we shall prevail, and the channel shall become a mighty success. See, look, the clouds, already they quail before Rico's mighty spirit and such. Apologise, by the way, that we're still in Just Cause 2. Unlike some YouTubers, I don't have access to the latest to Just Cause 3 just yet. I will gain access to that along with everybody else when it comes out in December, and it's on my Christmas list. So hopefully that will be something that we will start playing on the channel, maybe for future Just Talks when it's available. Until then, we'll have to make do with old school Rico, old school Just Cause 2. Let's get off this mountain. Let's get out of this wilderness. We could use something sensible, but let's not. Let's use an ice cream van. Come on, Rico, let's get out of here. So, what am I going to talk about today? I've already covered kind of like, a few of the bits and... Whoa, here we go. few of the bits and pieces, a little bit of the history. Like I said, it's been 3 months since the last Just Talk. I'm not going to try and cover everything that's happened since then because, frankly, quite a lot's happened. I've kind of played like a whole wide variety of games. The channel has become possibly a little bit less well focused. I've been kind of casting around a little bit, trying to find games that I can play quickly and produce content that I'm happy with and sort of that don't require so much editing. I think we're kind of starting to zero in on a format that's going to work in that respect. I think what I want to get back to a video every day. I think this is partly what sort of like sat my spirit a little bit is you know, as soon as I kind of said, oh, I'm not going to do a video every day, then suddenly there's this kind of like there's this thought at the back of your head each day of kind of like, oh, well, it doesn't really matter if I don't put a video out today. It'll just be one of the days I don't put a video out. And I don't like doing that. I don't like the thought of that. I like the idea that the channel is reliable, that, you know, every day you can come here and find a new piece of content, even if that content is something that is done relatively quickly, which can still be good at the end of the day. I think we've got enough of a core audience now that people will come back and watch things like Renowned Explorers or Sunless Seas, or something like that's quite quick to record. The content almost makes itself because, you know, I just have to kind of read what's on the screen, put on a bit of a silly voice from time to time, and add a little bit of banter, and basically that's it, job done. Edit it, put it up, and we're away. Other things that take a bit more time and effort to do, like Medieval Engineers, definitely going to remain on the channel. In fact, if there is a core to this channel, if there is a kind of a beating heart, then I think it pretty much lies within Medieval Engineers, because Medieval Engineers is a fantastic game. It's been responsible for a big part of the growth and the success on the channel. Actually, not having any Medieval Engineers on the channel for the last few months, I think, has been part of what has, like, you know, it's not kind of like been something that's lacking per se, because I'm not sure there was content that I particularly felt like I wanted or needed to do. But nonetheless, like I feel like Medieval Engineers is kind of like a core aspect of the channel, and it's what a lot of people originally subscribed for, and hopefully it's what a lot of people will come back for. So we're definitely going to work on keeping the Medieval Engineers content coming. Maybe something else as well in the Engineers pantheon, because there's certainly a possibility there. I might even drop a little bit of a teaser in at the end if I have time. Oops. I think the ice cream wagon is probably past its best. It's definitely past its best look. It's now on its side up the creek without a paddle. You there, policeman? I'm going to take your bike. Thank you. Sorry, I know that you're upset about that and you're going to try and kill me, but I'm just going to leave by riding up the side of a hill. Wow, look at this. Pretty awesome, I think. Pretty awesome. Other old favourites are going to come back to the channel, I think. City Skylines, another one that I think a lot of people enjoyed. That's definitely going to come back. And we're going to keep doing some of the new content types as well. So that's what we're going to do going forwards. That is going to be the future for the time being. We are running up towards our 1-year anniversary as well. That's going to be a pretty special time. Plus we've got Christmas coming along. We just had Halloween. I hope people enjoyed my Halloween special in Medieval Engineers. It's part of what made me start thinking about all this stuff again and actually doing 2 videos a day. I mean, that is a lot of work. If people want me to do 2 videos a day, that's great. But basically, this would have to be my full-time job, I think. For me to hit any kind of reasonable quality standard and produce 2 videos a day is definitely full-time job kind of level. And for reference, you know, in 10 months, I've made £20 from advertising. So, yeah, we need a few more viewers before that becomes practical, or a lot more Patreon backers. That would certainly help. It's probably actually the other way around. A few more Patreon backers or a lot more viewers to get it off of advertising revenue. But you know what? That'll come when it comes. That's not my primary focus. I've got some other projects on the go which I want to start integrating into the channel, which could potentially be like more financially successful, hopefully anyway. Some dev work. Let's talk a little bit about Kingdoms, because Kingdom Nothing Lasts, because that's been kind of like a recent big success on the channel, and I think people have really enjoyed that. I've really enjoyed it. I'm taking your bike. See ya. I really enjoyed making it, and that game has thoroughly inspired me, and to the point where I'm. A few of you may know I've been working on something that I've codenamed Space Game. Now, scope creep and various factors, including some technical issues that I've encountered, make that project more and more likely to get suspended, shall we say. in favor of possibly doing something a little bit more along the lines of Kingdom. Now, I'm not the type of person to simply clone a game or copy a game. But what Kingdom has done is it's really inspired me to think again about the 2D side-scroller type of format. Now, the gameplay, I think there are things, even if I was to do Kingdom, you know, like if I was to copy Kingdom, which I'm not proposing that I would do, but even if I were, I think there is a lot of things I would do differently in terms of gameplay. But in terms of like the actual format and the structure of like a side-scrolling game, maybe with a pixel art style, pixel art makes life a lot easier in some respects, especially for someone who is not a great artist like myself. So, yeah, you can expect to see stuff like that coming up on the channel in the near future. What I'm looking for, basically, is a game dev project that has a reasonably short development cycle. Maybe 3 to 6 months is what I'm thinking about. Is something that is going to be something that I can share on the channel like early and often, basically, and also maybe even make it a little bit collaborative. Maybe get channel viewers involved. Definitely get the Patreon backers involved as a way of saying thank you to all the Patreon backers. There'll be things like get your name in the game and get involved with beta testing and all of that kind of good stuff. So that's something else that I would like to start doing a bit of on the channel. I was going to say more of, but let's face it, I haven't done any on the channel yet. So I would like to start doing a bit of that on the channel. It was, in all honesty, the reason why the channel was created in the first place. Was to do Let's Play content, was to build up an audience, and it was to kind of, to have as a platform for promoting and talking about development work and getting games and stuff developed. Now, the YouTube kind of took over from that. I got so wrapped up in the whole sort of growth of the YouTube channel in the first half of the year that basically all of my spare time, rather than going onto game dev work, wound up going into YouTube, and all of the game dev stuff just kind of like basically fell by the wayside, or rather got kind of suspended. And that's I think a bit of a shame. But on the other hand, I suppose I wouldn't have the YouTube channel and the audience that I have now if I hadn't have done that. So, horses for courses and all that jazz. Anyway, look, I've probably prattled on for long enough. Wow! Rico! Oh, what a move. What a move. I've probably prattled on for long enough, is what I was about to say. For this week's Just Talk, I know it's been a little bit vague. It's been kind of like the old school Just Talks, not very well thought out and not very focused. But maybe that's part of the fun. I don't know. It certainly makes it slightly quicker and easier to record. Anyway, so with no further ado, let's head over to our analytics. We'll just do a quick run over of the analytics. If we do start doing Just Talks more in the future, I think analytics will probably be reserved for like a once a month on like a Just Talk Extra or something. But let's take a look at them just now, because I think it's quite interesting. Plus, we can look at the Halloween weekend in a little bit more detail, which people may find interesting. Let's do that now. And here we are in the at one time familiar dashboard screen. Many of you may not have seen it ever if you don't YouTube, or if you haven't watched any of my older Just Talks. So let's just quickly run through it and familiarize you with it. This is the dashboard. This is kind of like the landing site when you have a YouTube channel for checking out how things are doing. You can actually configure this. This is the way I like to have it. So we've got most recent videos here, and this is basically the last few days of the Halloween weekend. We've got the King's Speech, episode 3 of season 2 of Kingdom, Nothing Lasts, which has done pretty well, as all of the Kingdom episodes have. It's romped up to 52 views, 5 comments, 10 likes. So 10 likes out of 52 views is a pretty high like to view ratio. That's what, like 20%? I think 20%. Yeah, 20%. There or thereabouts. Horror Story, Renowned Explorers, 38 views. Not too bad, actually. Renowned Explorers did struggle a little bit to collect views. Only 5 likes, so it's got a much lower like to view ratio. But I kind of enjoy making this content, so even though this doesn't look that great, it's easy to make content, and so there will probably be more in the future. Sorry if it's not your cup of tea. Of course, you don't have to watch everything on the channel, as much as it would please me if you did. You don't have to. Gold Farming, another Kingdom episode. It's pretty similar stats. Wizard in the Woods, my Halloween special, 110 views, which is nice. That's kind of on the high end of regular viewership. Without sort of, boosts from search result hits and things like that. 28 comments. I mean, a lot of those will be mine. 14 likes. Again, a pretty good like ratio. That's what, sort of it's pretty much 14%, isn't it? There or thereabouts, 13% maybe, something like that. So pretty good. I have my issues with this episode. I wish I had like another 2 or 3 days to work on it. I think it would have been much better. I kind of decided at the last minute on Saturday that I wanted it to be a bit more than just wandering around with a bit of barbarian fighting, and so I kind of threw out a lot of what I'd already done, added in the story elements to it, added in like the whole bit at the end, the 5-minute rampage through the village. If you've not checked out Storied Past's YouTube channel, by the way, you totally should. Fantastic guy, fantastic YouTuber, has a really nice kind of historical documentary style to his YouTube content. Not very much of it, but then I'm sure it takes a lot of time to make that sort of content. So well worth going and checking out, especially if you're a Medieval Engineers fan. And then Death Stalks Us 04 Arc. We did a little Arc playthrough. It's kind of struggled to get viewerships and to get likes, so I'm not sure if we'll continue this series on the strength of the time it takes to make it, and the relatively poor viewing figures and like rates that it got. It probably isn't going to come back for a series, but I am prepared to be convinced if people feel really strongly about it. By all means, leave comments and let me know. So there we go. That was our sort of like most recent videos. We'll take a look at the analytics in more detail later. This is kind of an overview of the last 28 days. 5,378 views, 22,518 minutes watched, 205 subscribers gained net, and $4.80 in revenue, which I'm not going to talk about because I could get in trouble. Comments. These are the most recent comments. We've had a lot of comments. We've had a bit of a comment bonanza over the Halloween weekend, which is always really good. I love reading everybody's comments. I read every single comment that I get. I try to reply to every single comment as well. Occasionally I can't, which I will actually look. If we go into the community, and we'll just have a little look at this, because this is quite important. You see here, Maple Creature, I can't reply. I haven't replied to these because they came in recently, okay? But Maple Creature, I can't reply. So if you're watching this video, the reason I can't reply is because you haven't enabled public replies on your Google Plus account, which is tied to your YouTube comment thing, I think, still, even though they said they were going to separate it, it's still essentially tied, like, preference wise. So if you want me to be able to reply to you, or indeed anybody else to be able to reply to you in your comments, then you need to go into your preferences in Google Plus and enable replies there. And if you need more advice on how to do that, by all means send me a message and I will happily go into more details. There we go. Great. Some awesome comments here, some really great comments from lots of people. Edwin, one of the devs of Space-Based DF9's unofficial update. They're working to improve the game, add in all sorts of stuff. I did actually cover it in a live stream that I did. I haven't done any videos of it on the YouTube channel just yet, but I think I will come back to it because Space-Based DF9 actually did pretty well. People seem to like that content quite a lot, and I'm very impressed with what they've added. Derelict Games, these are the guys who are fixing it up and making it what it always promised to be, but sadly the original developers failed to deliver. So there we go. That's coming soon. Quite a few new faces on here as well. This has been one of the really nice things about the Halloween weekend. I've had quite a few new commenters. Maple Creature, I think, is relatively new. I think there was one other comment from you earlier on. T-Box Salesman. Moldfin, I'm pretty sure Moldfin has been around for a little while, but still, it was nice to hear from you. Sam's obviously been a fairly regular commenter in recent times on the channel. He's an awesome guy. Fallen X, been around since the beginning. Longest serving channel subscriber there is. He's a proper old school. Inane Data, great to have to hear from you. I'm glad you're still around. Again, quite an early subscriber to the channel. It's really nice to know that you're still watching. Loads of other people. Bone Hero, one of the Patreon backers, absolute legend, and more and more. Lots and lots of comments. Story Past, like I said, definitely worth checking out his YouTube channel. Well worth it. Look, 33 subscribers. He deserves more subscribers than that. Seriously. Check him out. Good. There we go. What else are we going to look at? Let's do our analytics rundown then very quickly, because this is the meat and potatoes of what we look at here on this side of things. So watch time. Now you can see basically this bit here is the Halloween weekend. If we go into more detail on watch time specifically, So where's the 31st? The 31st is here. So actually, look, this is Halloween Day itself. So day before Halloween. This is where I think the Halloween bonanza weekend kind of started. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We don't have the figures in for the rest of the weekend yet, but I'm reasonably confident that it will remain high like this. This boost here came off of Kingdom. So this is when I did my Kingdom video, and that continued to do really strong. Look, it's actually the top performer for the last 28 days, which is the time period that we're looking at currently. So, yeah, Kingdom 01, Kingdom, nothing lasts. The first playthrough, the ill-fated playthrough, as it turns out. 3,129 minutes watched on that one video. 20% view ratio. I mean, again, it's hard to know how good this really is. We'll look at this because I discovered something new in the analytics. We will take a look at that in more detail in just a second. 3 minutes 34 was the actual average view duration. 876 views. That's a little bit higher now than it was before. The other good performer, the other strong performer has been the experimental Stranded Deep video that I did. The first one is the one that's really picked up the search hits. That's gotten quite a lot of views. And a reasonably good watch time, much lower percentage. I mean, only 15%, but you kind of expect that when you're getting a lot of search hits. And then Prisoner Architect Escape Mode, 221 views, another strong performer. It's been a while since that video came out, but it continues to do relatively well. 1,127 minutes watched. So these kind of like top few videos represent the bulk of like the extra viewing and stuff. But yeah, there you go. I don't know, make of that what you will. Let us quickly look at this in a little bit more detail, because if we look at, this is the I am the king. I am the king. Nothing lasts. The track. So you can see the day I did it, got this out, I think the day the game came out. Now, I wasn't like one of the first YouTubers to produce content for it, because other YouTubers actually got pre-release copies and were able to get content up before me. What I did manage to do is I kind of secured an edge case search result. Most of the YouTubers had labeled their videos as Kingdom gameplay or Kingdom let's play or whatever. I actually used the tagline that the guy put on it as well. So it's Kingdom Nothing Lasts gameplay as the kind of like the targeted search term, and was pretty successful. In fact, I'm pretty sure if we take a little look and do a search for Kingdom Nothing Lasts gameplay, there I am, look, right at the top. I am the king. And this makes a huge difference. Yes, it's an edge case search term, so it's not getting anywhere near as much traffic as just Kingdom gameplay will be, but it's obviously getting enough that it's generating these extra views and hopefully bringing people into the channel and stuff. A little tip there if you're YouTubing. I mean, targeting the kind of like the main search terms for the game, you're never going to be able to compete against, you know, even moderately more established YouTubers. If we do a search for Kingdom gameplay, look, we've got things like, you know, 5,900 views, 4,000, 100,000 views. You know, some pretty well established type YouTubers here who've managed to secure these, and I'm nowhere on the first page at all. I probably appear on the second page if we're lucky, somewhere maybe towards the bottom. No, look, I'm not even on the second page. Not even on the second page. Am I on the third page? Am I anywhere at all? Doesn't look like it. So there you go. That's pretty much my case in point. A relatively successful video for me. Quite high like ratios and stuff. Not that that is supposed to affect your search rankings, but yeah, something to think about, something to bear in mind. Anyway, that's kind of a side issue. Let's take a look at this audience retention, because this is quite interesting.
My kingdom.
Oh, sorry. It started playing it back. Let's just ignore that. So, audience retention. This is absolute audience retention. So basically, as the video plays, you start out with obviously 100%. Everybody is watching the video when they first load it up. Very quickly, we drop down to 15%. In fact, we drop down to 15% in the first 11 seconds. What happens in the first 11 seconds?
I am Dave / Wizard, king of the Wizardans.
It's not the best cut there, actually, I have to say. I kind of rushed that video out slightly.
And welcome.
So there we go. That's the first 11 seconds. Basically, it's that little bit, and then it's my intro animation. And 50% of the people who arrived at the video stopped watching at that point or before. So I think that's relatively normal, to be honest with you. And then actually, look, it flattens out, and we gradually lose people as it goes on, ending sort of more or less where the actual video ends at 16%. And then sort of during the closeout, people drift away instead of staying to the end and watching the lovely advert that comes on at the end. Not that I'm encouraging you in any way to do that. Of course not. I would never do that. So there we go. Look, the this is a fairly gentle curve. This basically says that most people stayed sort of like, to about, I don't know. I don't even know it's what it's saying, to be honest with you. We drop steadily. We drop steadily. Part of this may be people starting to watch the thing again and then stopping halfway through or whatever. But it's interesting. More interesting perhaps than this is something that I discovered just recently. Average percentage viewed, 20%. There you go. Is relative audience retention. So let's take a look at this. So this is relative to other YouTube videos of a similar length. That's basically what it says. What it calls this. Organic views. No, it's down here. Look, relative audience retention shows your video's ability to retain viewers during playback by comparing it to all YouTube videos of a similar length. So I don't think it kind of like tries to match it with other gameplay videos. It's just anything that is approximately, 18 minutes long. So there you go. So amazingly, somehow, at the beginning, it's way below average. Even though it was 100%, it's way below average. I don't quite know how that works out. It then drops down as we lose viewers, like, for that first 11 seconds. And then it bottoms out here, and then it starts to get up. So basically, other YouTube videos are, like, the average for YouTube videos of this length is that they will continue to lose viewers much more quickly. We actually kind of, like, level out, and because of that, it goes, relatively speaking, way up. Then it starts to drop off again, which is interesting, I think. Down to below average here, look. Then it comes back up again, up to above average, then down, then up, then down, then up again, then down, and up a little bit at the end. I mean, make of this what you will. I think it's quite interesting. I mean, if you take that as the medium for how well an 18-minute video does, I don't think we've done too badly in respect to that. I don't know how skewed this gets by people watching like established YouTubers and being very loyal to them and watching the whole video. I would love it. I would absolutely love it if a really established YouTuber actually released this sort of information. Like if PewDiePie, at the top end, or if things like the Yogscast, or Markiplier, or Nerd Cubed, and all the way down to the sort of like the smaller but still well established like Scott Manley or Enter Elysium. All of those sorts of YouTubers, I would love to have this sort of information available to us. I don't know if people are against releasing it, but it would really help, I think. People when YouTubing to kind of judge where they are and judge how good their content is. So there you go. Something interesting, a bit of a side issue. Also, look, in terms of average view duration, Cyprus was the best, then South Africa, then Finland, Honduras, Latvia, Venezuela, Indonesia, Colombia, and then all the way down here is the United States. Now, admittedly, they have got 920 minutes watched, which is by far and away the most. But their average view duration is just down, 31%. Not too bad, actually. Not too bad. United Kingdom is lower, 27%. Come on, Britons. I am Dave, not King of the Britons, but sort of, I am one of you and such. There we go. Right, what else were we doing? This is running rather long. I do apologise for that. We'll just quickly look at the overview for everything once again. We don't want to be looking specifically at this. So yeah, like watch time is looking good. Views is looking good. It's fairly similar to watch time. Interestingly, look, there is this kind of big dip here in watch time, which does not get reflected anywhere near as much by views. So we were continuing to get the same number of views. People weren't watching as much. Did I release a much shorter video around here? I suppose that could account for it, possibly. I'm not sure. Or maybe people just didn't like that video. They still watched it. They still started watching it. They just didn't continue watching it. So there you go. Good. Let's take a quick look at the top performing videos. We've already seen them. Kingdom, Experimental, Prison Architect, Space-Based DF9. Interesting that slots into 4th place there. More Prison Architect. Rake still performing, interestingly. I really need to finish that series off. I feel terrible. Let's take a look at the top geographies, because everybody loves the top geographies. United States up there at the top, 7,000 minutes watched. United Kingdom, a not too distant second with 4,900. And then pretty far behind, Germany, Canada, Finland, Brazil, Australia, Netherlands, Hungary, France, New Zealand, Belgium, Sweden, Poland, Russia, Indonesia, Cyprus, Thailand. I mean, views from all over the place, which continues to baffle and amaze me. But there you go. Could be interesting, could not be interesting, depending on your point of view. One other thing to think about from demographics is our female to male share, 93% male to 6.8% female. That's quite a drop. We were about 10% female at one point. I apologize to my female viewers. Obviously, I have not been gearing my content sufficiently to your viewing pleasure. I'm not sure if there's anything I can do about that. If you have any advice or comments, please do let me know. And I will try and improve. Great. All right, you know what? This video has gone on for ages already. It's going to be a bit of a whopper. I apologize. Congratulations if you've made it all the way to the end. You are absolute stars and or diamonds. If you've not already subscribed, then quite frankly, you probably should have done. Because you're obviously some kind of superstar. Great. Let's head back into the game so that we can close out properly. Okay, there we go. That was the analytics. Oh, let's get out of here. Look. Okay, there we go. That was the analytics. I hope that was of interest to you. And if you want to see more analytics, if you want to see more Just Talk in the future, please do leave a like, leave a comment, let me know. The likes are quite important because likes, and especially like to watch ratio, is something that I pay a lot of attention to when deciding whether to continue with the series or to cancel it, you know, and do something else. I think it's a nice easy measure. It means people don't, I mean, comments are even better, let's face it, comments are fantastic, but people don't always want to leave a comment, and I understand that. So if you don't feel like leaving a comment, if you like something and you want to see more of it, remember to hit that like button, and it makes it that much more likely that more will come in the future. And if you didn't like something, by all means, don't hit the like button, and maybe even leave a comment and say, you know, that maybe something else would be better. It all goes on board, it all comes on board, and it is all taken into consideration, and then I may well ignore it and do my own thing anyway. But there you go, that's what you get when you deal with a wizard. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I have been Weird Wizard, and I will see you later!